are going to study the first chapter in the 9th standard of biology, that is fundamental units of life. We already discussed number of things of this chapter in 8th standard under the title Study of Cells. Now start the topic. In our surroundings we can see lot of things. That means lot of living things, also called living organisms. When we look at the living organisms, we come to know a common thing, a similar thing among them. What is the common thing or the similar thing? That is, all living organisms are made up of fundamental structures called cells. So these cells are nothing but the fundamental units of life. You already studied the term cell. The term, that means the word cell, was first coined by Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke saw a slice of cork, a thin slice of cork under a microscope. When he saw, he observed number of honeycomb-like structures. These honeycomb-like structures were called by cells. What is the meaning of cells? According to Robert Hooke, cells means little compartments. Then, now we mount any structure under microscope. Then, how can we mount an onion peel? So, first thing, how can we mount an onion peel? That is, to observe anything, that is, to observe cells under a microscope, we have to mount a structure. Now we are going to mount an onion peel under microscope. So what are the materials required? Glass slide, water, onion peel, saffron or any other solution, then cover slip. So take a glass slide. Glass slide is nothing but a glass plate, a simple small glass plate. Put a drop of or few drops of water on the glass slide. Then take a thin onion peel. Okay? Then put it into water. A thin onion peel is put it into water. Then put 1 or 2 drops of saffron in solution, which is used for staining. Staining means what? Coloring. So staining improves the clarity. Therefore, we use any stain like saffron. And put a cover slip. Put a cover slip is a very thin, either spherical or a square glass plate, very thin glass plate, nothing but cover slip. So put a cover slip over the onion peel. Then keep it under microscope. This is how to mount an onion peel. Then we already studied microscope. So microscope was first developed by 2 scientists, Robert Hooke and Leeuwenhoek. Then you already studied cell theory. That is, cell theory was proposed by Schwann and Schleiden. Then what are the principles of cell theory? According to cell theory, all organisms, either unicellular organisms or multicellular organisms, are made up of cells. Then next one is all cells are new cells born from the pre-existing ones. These are the principles of cell theory. Next, size and shape of the cells. Cells are of different size. Size vary from 1 micron to several microns, and then shape also varies. Some are spherical in shape. For example, parenchyma cells in plants, but in human body some are spherical, that is a type of WBCs are spherical. Some are oval, for example ovum. Then some are biconcave, for example human RBCs. Then some are cylindrical, for example human muscle cells. Then some are spindle shaped, for example nerve cells, and some are irregular, another type of WBCs. And then you can see an irregular shaped cell in amoeba also. In case of cells, the size and shape of the cells are mostly related to their function. So, the size and shape of the cells are mostly related to their function. Then in 8th standard, we already explained you as what cells are the basic structural and functional units. That means all structures are made up of cells and all functions are done by cells. Now we are going to study how cells perform activities. That means how cells perform different functions. In case of unicellular organisms, only one cell is present. That single cell performs all the activities. For example, amoeba, chlamydomonas, then Euglena, Paramecium, etc. In case of multicellular organisms, body is made up of many cells. That is thousands of cells, lakhs of cells. And where we can see division of labor. Now what is division of labor here? Division of labor means different cells perform different activities. But whether an organism is unicellular or multicellular, cell, that is each cell has different components. These components of the cells are called cell organelles. These cell organelles perform activities of the cell. In a cell, whether it is a plant cell or an animal cell, you can see three basic structures, that is three basic organelles, cell organelles. There are 1 cell membrane, 2 cytoplasm, 3 nucleus. Now we are going to study one by one. First one, cell membrane. Already studied cell membrane in this standard. Cell membrane is a thin and delicate membrane. It is a covering of the cell. It covers the cytoplasm. Then it separates the cell. It separates the cell from the surrounding environment. So what is cell membrane? Cell membrane, also called plasma membrane. It is a thin and delicate membrane surrounding the cytoplasm. It separates the cell from the surrounding environment. Cell membrane acts as SPM, that is selectively permeable membrane. That means cell membrane has number of minute pores on its surface. Through those pores, number of materials enter in and leave out, but not all the materials. Only selected particles enter in and out. Therefore, cell membrane is called selectively permeable membrane. Then how do materials move in and out across the cell membrane? Across the cell membrane, 4 processes occur, and these 4 processes are responsible for the movement of materials in and out of the cell. Which are they? They are 1. Diffusion, 2. Osmosis, 3. Active transport, and 4. Endocytosis. First, diffusion. What is diffusion? You already know. Diffusion means movement of molecules from RHC to RLC. RHC refers to region of higher concentration. RLC refers to region of lower concentration. So what is diffusion? Movement of molecules, either solid or liquid or gaseous molecules, from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Region of higher concentration means where the concentration, that means the quantity of molecules is more. Region of lower concentration means where the quantity of molecules is less. For example, if carbon dioxide, that means the amount of carbon dioxide is more outside the cell compared to the amount of carbon dioxide present inside the cell. That means if carbon dioxide molecules are more outside the cell, then it is called region of higher concentration. If carbon dioxide molecules are less inside the cell compared to outside, then it is called region of lower concentration. So there is a difference in concentration. So here carbon dioxide molecules are more outside the cell and less inside the cell. So there is a difference in concentration of carbon dioxide. This difference in concentration is called concentration difference. Concentration difference, not different, concentration difference. As a result of difference in concentration, carbon dioxide moves in. Carbon dioxide moves in from, that is what? Outside to inside. This is diffusion. Diffusion is responsible for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide, that is in plants and in animals. Similarly, diffusion has the greatest advantage. What is that? Aquatic organisms use only dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide. That is, they make use of dissolved oxygen for respiration, and aquatic plants make use of dissolved carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Then how oxygen and carbon dioxide get dissolved in water? This is due to diffusion only. It is due to diffusion, the atmospheric oxygen and carbon dioxide, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide present in atmosphere, enter the water and get dissolved in water. This is the greatest advantage of diffusion. Next, go to second process, osmosis. What is osmosis? Osmosis is nothing but a different form of what? Diffusion. But only liquid molecules move from RHC to RHC. So what is osmosis? Osmosis is nothing but a different type of diffusion where particularly liquid molecules, particularly water, mostly water, liquid molecules, not the solid and gaseous molecules, only liquid molecules, especially water, moves from RHC to RHC. And here we can see net movement of molecules, net movement. But in case of diffusion, there is a random movement. So, osmosis is similar to diffusion. But in case of osmosis, only liquid molecules move from RHC to RHC, and here there is a net movement. Net movement means ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನೆಟ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ರ್ಯಾಂಡಮ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಅಂದರೆ ಅಡ್ಡ ದಿಡ್ಡಿಯಾಗಿ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಹೇಗೆ ಇರ್ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ. Then what will happen when a living cell, either a plant cell or an animal cell, is put into a solution, that is either a sugar solution, salt solution, like that? What happens? In case of a cell, a living cell put into a solution, three things can happen or may happen. Which are they? First, when the cell is put into a hypotonic solution. Hypotonic. What is hypotonic? Hypo means less. Tonic means strength. Right? You already know about the tonic. Tonic means, what is the meaning of tonic? Tonic means strength. So one which gives strength to our body is referred as the tonic. Right? As prescribed by the doctor. Right? So hypotonic means, hypo means less, tonic means strength. That is a solution which has less strength. It is also called a weaker solution, or it can be called a dilute one. What happens? This time cell gains water. Cell gains water. That is, water moves into the cell. As a result, cell swells up. As water moves into the cell, it is called endosmosis. That is, end means here, that is endosmosis, simply called endosmosis. Endo means in, osmosis, that is water moves in, so called endosmosis. So what happens when a living cell is put into hypotonic solution? Hypotonic solution means solution having more water molecules. So it is called dilute. Dilute means what? Which has more water. As water molecules are more, water moves into the cell. As a result, cell swells up, and this is called endosmosis. Next, go to second situation. So when a cell is put into isotonic solution, iso means same, tonic means strength. That is, solution having the same strength. That means here the amount of water is similar both inside the cell as well as outside the cell. What is that? Isotonic solution means the amount of water is the same both inside the cell as well as outside the cell. Therefore, no change occurs. That is, same amount of water enters in and same amount of water goes out. But here, more amount of water enters in and less amount of water goes out. So, here swelling up of the cell occurs. But here, amount of water goes in and amount of water goes out is same. Therefore, no change in the size of the cell. So, no change. Go to the third situation. If a living cell is put into hypertonic solution, hyper means more, tonic means strength. That means it is a stronger solution, also called concentrated solution. Here, amount of water molecules is less. Amount of water molecules is less compared to the solute present. Here, water goes out of the cell. Water goes out of the cell. As a result, the cell shrinks. And this is called X osmosis. X means out. Right? So, water molecules move out. Therefore, it is called X osmosis, and the result is the cell shrinks. Now take the examples. Take an egg, remove the shell. You all know egg has a tough outer skeleton, that is outer shell. The shell is made up of calcium carbonate. This shell is removed by using dilute hydrochloric acid. Then the deshelled egg, that means egg without calcium carbonate shell. Egg without calcium carbonate shell. It is called the deshelled egg. This deshelled egg is put into pure water. Pure water refers to weaker solution or dilute solution. For about 5 minutes, what happens? Water enter into the cell. As a result, egg swells up. Similarly, the deshelled egg is put into a salt solution, either a salt solution or a sugar solution or any other solution containing salts. For about 5 minutes, what happens? This time, water goes out. As a result, the egg shrinks. So, the example, this is what? The example for the things happen when a living cell put into solutions of different concentration. Similarly, we can see the same results when we put raisins, that is dry grapes, into water or into a salt solution. Similar things happen. Then what is the advantage of osmosis? Osmosis help the aquatic organisms to gain water from the surroundings or gain water from where they live. Similarly, osmosis also involving absorption of water by the plants. That is, in plants, root absorbs water from the soil. This is also due to osmosis. So these are the advantages of osmosis. But if the cells are dead, no osmosis will take place. If the cells are dead, that is, dead cells do not show any osmosis or any osmotic process. Next we go to third process which occur across the cell membrane, that is active transport. Active transport is nothing but a process where materials move from RLC to RLC. So this is opposite to diffusion and osmosis. So what happens here? Here materials move from RLC, that is region of lower concentration, to region of higher concentration. So here process occurs against the concentration gradient, that is against. Therefore, this process requires energy. So active transport requires energy as the materials move from RLC to RLC. Then example for active transport. In our body we can see movement of K+, that is potassium ions and sodium ions. Potassium ions and sodium ions in our body is examples for what? Is an example for active transport. Then go to fourth one, endocytosis. Cell membrane is flexible. Then the flexibility of cell membrane enable the cell to engulf food from the external environment. For example, this is amoeba, then it is the food of amoeba. When amoeba see the food, it moves towards what? The food, and then this is the cell membrane. This cell membrane is also called pseudopodia. Amoeba, in case of amoeba, cell membrane is itself called pseudopodia. It can change the shape. Here, this flexible cell membrane traps the food and covers the food. In this way, amoeba takes food with the help of the flexibility of cell membrane. This process is called endocytosis. What is this called? Endocytosis. Endocytosis is seen in amoeba.